Hi, I'm Tati, and the summer 2018 Biannual Bibliothon is over. So I participated in the Biannual Bibliothon, which is a readathon that takes place twice a year and I believe is always 7 days long. There are blog, Instagram, video, and reading challenges. I personally only participated in the video and reading challenges for this round. I will leave a link in the description to my Biannual Bibliothon playlist if you want to see my videos for the video challenges. So now let's get into what I read. So the first book I finished for the Biannual Bibliothon was The Lifeboat Clique by Kathy Parks. I found this book to be really gripping and surprising throughout, and if I'm remembering correctly, I believe I listened to the entire thing on audiobook. I ended up giving it 3 out of 5 stars. This book completed the reading challenge of reading the first chapter of 3 different books and then picking one book to read for the readathon, and that video where I read the first chapter of 3 different books and picked this one is also in that Bibliothon playlist if you want to see how that went. Next, I finished a book I don't have a physical copy of, and that was Otherworld by Jason Segel and Kirsten Miller. I actually enjoyed this book a lot more than I thought I was going to. Going into it, all I knew about it was that it was about video games, and I'm not really big on video games. However, it turned out to be so much more than that, and I really enjoyed it. I ended up giving it 4 out of 5 stars. I actually started listening to it as an audiobook, and then I liked it so much that I wanted to actually read it physically, so I kept switching back and forth between the audiobook and the ebook. I am actually really excited for the sequel, which is supposed to be coming out in the fall of this year, I believe. And this was the book I put on my TBR as a substitute for the group book because I didn't want to read the group book, so this book technically did not complete any of the reading challenges. The next book I finished was Eliza and Her Monsters by Francesca Zappia. This is a really great book. It was my book to complete both the anticipated 5-star read challenge and the challenge to read a book that's been on your TBR for over a year. And I did end up giving it 5 stars on Goodreads. However, it's more like a 4.5 star read for me personally. And that's just because I had a hard time getting into it in the beginning. And if you want to know more about why that is, I talk about it in my vlog, which again, as soon as it's up, it'll be linked in the description. The next book I finished was Wyndham Met Rishi by Sandhya Menon. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. I started reading this one as an audiobook, and it wasn't too bad as an audiobook, but I definitely preferred just reading straight from the book. So this is another one where I switched back and forth between the audiobook and the physical book. I ended up giving this book 3 out of 5 stars. This book also completed 2 challenges. They were the challenge to pick from somebody else's TBR and the challenge to read an own voices novel that's different than you. And I actually did start another book, and that was The Outsiders, the 50th Anniversary Edition by S.E. Hinton. But I didn't end up finishing it. I only got halfway through before the readathon was over. And this was supposed to complete the challenge of reading the last book you bought. So those were the books I read and the challenges I completed. I ended up reading a total of 4 complete books, or 4.5 books if you want to count the half of The Outsiders I read. And the total pages, from my calculations, which I hope are correct, was 1,556. I think my favorite book was Eliza and Her Monsters, with Otherworld as a surprisingly close second. Let me know what your favorite read of the readathon was in the comments. If you liked this video, you can let me know by giving it a like. I try to upload a new bookish video to this channel every Friday, so subscribe if you want to see more. Thanks for watching. Bye! The lipstick is darker than I was expecting. And one of my lights is busted, so I ended up giving it 4 out of 5 stars. Did I? Yes, I did. Oh, I have that one.